Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do again is I'm going to talk about a frontal shot. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people has been thinking, well, there was a frontal shot, and everything else. But I'm going to look at things, like I said, when I do my research stuff, I look at realistic instead of what other people do. Okay. When they make their claims and stuff, they'll put a claim out there and everything else. Just like I was watching a video where they said in documents that was just released that there was a frontal shot to JFK's throat and everything else. Okay, and then they said it came from the overpass. Okay, I want to show people that, I can't, I was trying to make a documentary, like I said, I'm trying to get a documentary, the funds to get a documentary made so I can show people these proper angles and stuff like that. But I'm trying to show you here by images on there couldn't have been no frontal shots, because when you do research you have to think outside the box, you have to think of reality, you have to be realistic about it. Okay, and I want to point out some of these facts here. Now remember, the throat shot, as we see here, all gens image number 6, the throat shot already occurred. Okay, throat shot already occurred in the assassination. But when we look at this, which I'm going to pull up this right here, okay, we're going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in right now, and we're going to see there is no crack in the windshield. And also, if you watch my other videos, you're going to see, or if you wrote, even if you read my book, you're going to see there was no crack in the windshield during this time. Now, JFK was already shot in the throat, supposedly shot in the throat, but the bullet actually exited. But we're going to go into more detail here in a minute. JFK, the bullet already exited his throat. So see, there is no bullet hole in this location. Now, after the fatal headshot, now we see the bullet mark that's in the windshield. Okay, which I'm going to pull up right here. Now we see that mark that's in the windshield right here. This is all gens image number 7. Now remember, all gens image number 6 took place by frame 254 to prove from. This is before the fatal headshot, because this frame here lines up with this right here, and the surroundings and the people, their way they're positioned in the car and everything else. Okay, so there was no crack in the windshield during this time here or in this time here, and this was taken by a frame 254. But when we look at the other image, all gens image number 7, we see that this image lines up with frame 394. This is after the fatal headshot. That's when the windshield had that mark in it. Now, in a Warren Commission report, they found gun residue right here, which is show an image of it and everything else. But when you take this residue out, it's going to make a hole. Then that's where that story comes, where people says, "Oh, I seen a hole" and stuff like that. But they was looking at it after the fact, after the gun residue was taken out, which is going to make a hole in there. Okay, now we're going to look at reality now. Like I said, realistic and reality. Okay, here we go with this right here. All right, I don't want to go with that one yet. Let's look at this way. When people do the research, which I'm going to show you here, this image here. When people do the research, when they do this or do that, what they can do is here in this car here, as you see, as you notice, and as you see, there is nobody in the front seat, nobody in the seats behind, and there are only JFK in that seat. You probably can't see it because I'm in the way, but I'm going to zoom in so you can see right here. Okay, here's back of JFK's limo. I'll put JFK in his position. Mrs. Kennedy's gone. Governor Connally and his wife is gone, and the front people in the front seats are gone as well. This is what they look at when they do their ballistic test. Okay, that's when they do the throat, supposedly the fatal headshot. When they do the magic bullet shot, they put Governor Connally here, and they place Governor Connally 6 inches in so they can line up that magic bullet to claim for their theory. But now we're going to go into reality. When we look at the images and when we place people back in position, this is what I look at when I examine these stuff. I look at it this way. I have the driver, passenger. Mrs. Connally turned to her right because she's got, coming into Governor Connally, which he has a hand right here and a hand right here. Governor Connally, which he's leaning to the right, he's leaning back. Then we have Mrs. Kennedy right here with one arm here, and JFK is like this, leaning over this way. This is what I look at because this is called reality to me, because this is realistic. This is what we see. We don't see this, and we don't see this. I also place the car in a motion position, which is moving. They place it stationary. Now, when we look at these shots, again, they look at the car going straight ahead, straight ahead. I don't. I look at the car going this way because remember, that's a turn. It's winding down Elm Street there. So I have to look at it this way. Then I also look at it this way. They look at, when they do their testings and stuff like that, they look at the JFK's limos like this. Okay, I don't. I look at JFK's limo like this. That's how I look at it. Going downgrade, not straight, downgrade. Okay, now I want to show you this. Let's see where that image is at. Now let's look right here. Now, as you see here, it's a big distance from here down to Elm Street, okay? And as you also see up here on top, which I'm going to zoom in, we see people all along the overpass right here. Now, two things came to my mind when I look at this image here, okay? When I look at this image right here, which I'll pull up here so we can see the people and all. When I look at this image, two things come to mind. They said there was a gunman up here that took that shot to JFK. Well, he couldn't have, and here's the reason why. Because if he took that shot, remember, like I said, we're looking at a downgrade now, okay? That bullet would have to come down, strike the windshield, then turn upwards. So it had to come down like this, and then make a sharp turn upwards like this, as you see here. So a shot could not come from that overpass. Besides, when you look at the overpass, you would think like this. Okay, I would think, but I don't know about anybody else. Excuse me. Excuse me for a moment. Anyway, when you look at this, and you're going to say, well, if there's a gunman up there, and someone pulls out a rifle with all these people up there, all these pedestrians up there, pulls out a rifle and starts taking a shot, wouldn't you think that all them people up there would have ran to that assassin right there and start grabbing his rifle from him and start beating him to the ground? I mean, really pulverizing him, kicking him, punching him, slapping him around, pile driving him and everything else if you see assassin there. Okay? That's what people don't understand. This is what I look at, and this is what I think. These are questions that comes to my mind when I see stuff like this. They make a claim like this, but I would think if anybody that was stupid enough, or an assassin was stupid enough to stand in front of everybody, pulls out a rifle, fires it in front of everybody, you would see all them people would have tackled him, and he would have been beaten to death right in that spot. Wouldn't he have done that? So see, you have to think about this. And any shots coming down would have come down and then back up. Okay? Now, to take a shot from there, it would have to be at a lower level. So they would have to be at the same level as JFK's limo. For them to take that front shot, they would have to be at the same level. Now, when we line this up, we place the vehicle, the limo, back in its position, which is not this one right here. Nope, not this one here. Is it this one? Nope. Anyway, I'm going to do it this way, if you don't mind. If we place JFK's limo back in here, okay, where that a shot occurred at, supposedly a shot occurred at, that shot would have been right there. That the assassin would have to be right next to James Tigg to take a frontal shot to JFK from that location. He would have to stand right there next to James Tigg. Now, James Tigg, everybody knows that a missed shot bullet struck there, and a piece of it came up and hit him inside the cheek. Okay, so there was no assassin around him. He said he heard shots, but it was far off to the left from where he was standing, which places it far off over in this location over here is where he heard the shots coming from. There was no reports of anybody said they heard any shots up here on the overpass or underneath the underpass or even here on the south side. No reports. No reports of anybody claiming, eyewitness accounts or anything, claiming there was any shots up here that took place or occurred over here. They heard it coming over from this location right here. That's where they heard shots coming from. But to take a frontal shot, that gunman would have to stand right next to James Tigg to be able to get a clear shot to JFK, supposedly a clear shot to JFK without striking Governor Connally or Mrs. Connally or the driver when that bullet was fired. So we know there was no gunman around James Tague at the time. So see, to have a frontal shot, you have people say there was a frontal shot. Well, they're going to show you for evidence. They're not going to show you for evidence because they're just selling you that story. Okay? And they're going to say, you have to believe me because I'm a well-known person. I'm famous. You have to believe me. Okay? But when you look at realistic, at the views and everything else, you're going to see that no shots could have came from that location or a frontal shot because there wasn't no way a clear shot can get through there. Just like when you place the vehicle back into where the bullet hole or bullet to the windshield happened and when it occurred, okay, you would have to have a gunman right next to James Tague. And everybody knows there was no gunman next to James Tague whatsoever. Plus, I want to show you this. I think this is pretty well obvious once you see this. If we place JFK's limo here, which you're going to see here, which I'll zoom in just in case I'm in the way. Okay, we place Miss Kennedy here, Mrs. Connally here, Governor Connally here, and JFK here. This is frame 312 of the Zapruder film. This is right before the fatal headshot. Now, a lot of people says, well, this came from the south side. But as you see here, when I place a gunman here and I place a gunman here, and I take these shots, okay, first off, as you see here, remember, there's cars and there's trucks right here. So truck's going to be up in this location here, which we've seen in the films, there's trucks up in this location. James Tague was over here. And we got people up through here. And we got cars and vehicles. And we got people standing up here, 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 here. We have a guy running right here. We have another guy right here, which can end up interfering with that shot. But as you see here, which I'm going to do it this way so we can pull it over here so you can see it, there is no way they would end up shooting Mrs. Connally or Mrs. Kennedy before they would have had a clear shot to JFK. And as you notice here as well, that when this shot come in here, it would have struck right up here first. It would have either dent the chrome up on this or shot Mrs. Connally or Mrs. Kennedy would have got shot first before that bullet would even enter JFK. And that's coming from the south side, as they point out where the assassins were. So see, no shots, there was no frontal shots, okay? Whether people wants to believe it or not, okay, people's going to believe what they want anyway. There was no frontal shots, okay? There was no frontal shots that we see in the films or images, okay? There's no reports of anybody hearing any gunshots fired on the overpass or even under the underpass, because even if there was a shot fired under the underpass, you can hear a pow, pow. It would echo in there. It's like an echo chamber then, okay? So there was no shots fired in that location because he would have to stand over here. As you notice here, right over here is James Tague standing right here. He would have to have an assassin right next to him to actually get a clear frontal shot to JFK. But then again, remember, we're talking about the car vehicle moving, which again, like I said, when they look at the test, they don't look at the car being angled this way. Okay, they don't look at the vehicle being angled this way. They don't take into consideration that the car is like this, okay, coming down grade. And they also look at it this way where, as you see right here, you know, as I point out, they only place JFK in a car or JFK and Governor Connally. That's when they do their test. They make the car stationary. They have it going forward. They have it straight and level. And they're not placing the driver there, passenger there, Mrs. Connally, Mr. Connally, Mrs. Kennedy in their locations, not placing them in the proper locations. And they're not having the car at an angle, and they're not having a car turn in an angle as well as going into a downgrade. So see, I point out facts, okay? That's what I do. I point out facts. And when I see videos made and when I hear about radio programs and people sending me stuff and everything else, because I made a video before this one where I talk about the documents and reports and files and stuff like that, you know. There's a lot of things you have to look at. If you don't look at that and you don't come up with them questions, you're never going to get an answer, because it's easy to make claims, okay? Anybody can say this, because if they want to keep on pushing this issue, I guarantee you this would happen. They want to keep on continuing on pushing this information and saying there was a frontal shot because there was a hole in the windshield and everything else. They're going to look at it and say, well, as years go by, there's going to be false claims where an innocent man like James Tagg would end up getting involved in saying he was one of the assassins. Okay, which I know for a fact he wasn't. He was a great man and everything else. I give the guy full respect. Okay, he put his life, basically his life was in jeopardy there that day. You know, just all he wanted to do was see a president. People don't look at it this way. I do. Okay. Um, like I said, you know, I'm not into this research stuff to become famous and rich overnight or anything else like that, because other people's using their fame and their name to keep that popularity going, to keep these false claims pushed and everything else, you know, because like I said in my other documentary, video I just made before this one, they're going to push all this false documents out there and say, you know, this is what happened. This is who's behind it. But like I pointed out in that video, that you're not going to hear about these other shots. You're only going to hear about the 3 shots: the head shot, the curb shot, and the magic bullet shot. That's all in these reports. You don't hear nothing about the curb shots or the other shots that occurred that day. Nobody's reported none of that. There's no documents written out. There's no eyewitness account reports made out or anything else. But there's eyewitness claim that shots was taken, other, you know, shots was taken, and other evidences out there that shows other shots were taken and stuff, but they're not going to point this out. Okay, so I just want to make this video here to show people some more inside detail on there can't be no frontal shot. There was no frontal shot, because you have to look at facts. If you're going to make a claim, at least try to put some facts in there with it and see if this can happen or that can happen before you make that claim. And I'm talking this to other researchers. Okay, I'm trying to give them some advice. Other researchers, you know, think about things before you make the claims. Okay, don't just sit there and just say there's the story, take it and go with it. Look at it, because there is people out there. It's not only me. There's other people out there too, because other people ask me questions. That's why I make these videos. That's why I show this evidence as well, is because they ask me questions that say, well, this person said it was a frontal shot, but I can't see it happening. Is there any possible way it could happen? And I'll sit there and I'll start looking at it and say, well, no, it couldn't happen, because we have to look at it and say, well, that's what I think about. Okay, this is people down here. Okay, everybody got to understand, and when it comes to research, okay, I'm with the people here. We're together. Okay, I hear what they want. I see what they want every single day because I'm here with them. Now you have these top researchers and these high class people and stuff. They're up here because this is where they put us. They put themselves up here while we're down here, and they're only going to tell you stuff they want you to hear, and that's it. And they want you to believe that. But I'm right here with the people. Okay, I'm with the people, and I believe the people, and I know what the people want. The people wants truth. People wants the reality. They don't want more false stuff. We see the stuff every time we turn on TV. We see the stuff every time we turn on the net. False information, false stories, and everything else. And everything's conspiracy anymore. Nowadays, society, as soon as you turn on something, there's a new conspiracy out there. So I want to make these videos so people can understand more. In the description down below, I'm going to leave a site if you want to order one of my books. Remember, for the month of November and December, all my book royalties I'm going to put in the GoFundMe account. I'm also going to leave that in the description down below if you want to make a donation, $1, $2, $3. All the money and all the money that's raised for this documentary is going to be put into this documentary so we can make an A1 documentary, full documentary, and have that all that information in this one documentary and have it already on file. Thank you, and don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget the subscribe button, don't forget to tell your friends about this, share this video, and you have a pleasant day.